the Lions Pride of Jozi Rugby podcast with Clinton Scott.
Good evening, everyone. Clinton Scott from Lions Pride of Jozi podcast in collaboration with MEGAFOON Sport. I will be discussing our game against the Dragons, having a look at our upcoming game against Zebre. We will share some game stats, some player stats. I'll also be talking about our explosive man of the match, Jared Keynes, give you a little bit of background on this player. And then we'll also discuss a winger that has returned from a long-term injury. And we'll have a look at the season a little bit beyond Zebre. So guys, the first two games were explosive victories for the Lions. I mean, we scored numerous tries in a high-scoring affair. And yeah, we beat, obviously, Ulster and Edinburgh comfortably. Then we came up against a stubborn Dragons outfit who are also a very well-coached side. And like Zebre said, had this been a year ago or 2 years ago, we probably would have lost this type of game. But the Lions have matured as a unit. There's great leadership in the side. They know when to calm things down. They don't seem to panic. And those last 20 minutes were telling in this game to pull this game through. So it was a hard-fought victory, but nevertheless, our third one in 3 games. And what is very great for us at the moment is that we are playing with so much confidence. Yes, we obviously make the odd mistake here and there, but we seem to be able to correct it quite quickly. So it's looking very promising for us in this URC competition. Cash did mention pre-season that their target or their goals are ending 4th. A lot of people thought that it's maybe being over-optimistic, but the rate they're going now doesn't seem too far-fetched, although it's a long season still. But we're sitting in 3rd position with a game in hand before we take on Zebre. So just looking at a few stats from this last game, we scored 2 tries and obviously leaked 3, which is concerning, but it's not a train smash. Obviously, the Lions still managed to overcome the Dragons and win this game, despite conceding 1 more try than what we scored. We had a lot of carries in this game, 116 carries versus their 101. We had 7 line breaks compared to their 5 line breaks. And we had 7 turnovers that we won. And I'll get to the individual players that were leading those stats. In this game, we dominated possession, but they dominated territory. Just having a look here as well at our set plays, we won 100% of our scrums in this game. We lost 2 of our 12 lineouts, so we won 10 out of 12 lineouts. But those are small little tweaks that we can just correct as we go along, because in the previous game, we won all of our lineouts. And then on attack, we had 153 passes, and we had 116 ball carries. We had 262 post-contact meters. And as I mentioned, 7 line breaks. There were 7 turnovers in this game, as I said earlier. On defense, we made 95 tackles, we missed 23, but fortunately in those 23 that we missed, we only conceded 3 tries. So we had an 81% tackle success rate, which Zebre would obviously want to improve in the next game. Looking at individual stats in this specific game, if we look at the carries that I mentioned, there were 116 carries in this game, and the players that were leading those stats were Jared Keynes, with 15 carries. Kieran Horn had 13 carries. If you go a little bit further down, Mone van der Berg had 9 carries. And then Asenate and Clavacania, the Jozi Bulldozer, had 8 carries in this game. So the guys are really running it at the Dragons. Line breaks, Frankie Horn had 2 line breaks. Jared Keynes had 1. Tackles completed on the defensive side. JC Pretorius led the tackle count with 12, and right behind him was Jared Keynes with 11. And then turnovers 1 was JC Pretorius 2, Jared Keynes 2. So if you look at those stats, JC and Jared were very close in a lot of these stats. But what swung it in Jared Keynes' favor to win man of the match was the fact that he dominated the tackles, and he also scored a try, and he had 2 turnovers as well. So coming to Jared Keynes, this is a promising flanker. A player that's comfortable in either 6, 7 or 8. And he's played in all of those positions in the Currie Cup through to the URC now, and he just doesn't disappoint. His work rate is next level. Jared was a product of Paul Roos, and he represented Western Province schools at a lot of age levels. He captained the under-16 Grand Como team. He represented the Western Province under-18s in their sevens, and he was also part of a South African schools A side that he captained. So besides his intensive work rate, he's got leadership skills as well. So this could be a possible future captain as well for us. And if you look at him and we look at all the talent that's coming through, especially in our loose forward department, it's phenomenal. I mean, we've got JC Pretorius and Renzo Duplessis that play 6. Both of them are excellent players. Then you've got Ron Fenter, who we all know what he's capable of. Unfortunately, he's out for 4 months due to an injury, shoulder injury, which the operation went well. And now you've got Jerry Keynes that's slotting into a number 7 position, and he's just, it's like a hand in glove. We've got Sibalalo Koma, who's also very, very talented flanker, who's injured and will be back in a few weeks' time. We've got Frankie Horn. We know what his capabilities are, and I really believe that guy's Springbok material. It just depends on what type of number 8 Russ is looking for. As we said before, he's a very Warren Whiteley type of player, links backs and forwards, and he says he enjoys that. He enjoys joining the backs and also getting down and getting dirty with the forwards. Then we still have to see V.S. Steenkamp, who has joined the Lions, but due to a toe injury, has not yet played, but I'm sure he will come into the reckoning when we get closer to the Challenge Cup in December. So guys, coming up next is Zebre, a very tricky team and a team that you can't underestimate. They started off the competition with a very close loss to Cardiff. Then they surprised friend and foe alike and beat Munster. Nobody saw that one coming. But since that one, they've had 2 big defeats against the Stormers and now more recently against Glasgow. So you never really know what you're going to get when you face them. And like Jacques Fourie was saying, that we cannot arrive there thinking that we're going to just walk this and it's going to be easy peasy. It will not. We've got to be focused from the first whistle until the last. Things that didn't go well for us in the game against the Dragons, they will be correcting this week in training, and we obviously need to make sure that we don't repeat those. So we've got to make our first time tackles. We leaked 3 tries in this game. One of them was obviously an intercept from a pass that came from Nico Steyn, but I mean, that can happen to anybody. When the media journalists were asking Jacques Fourie how did he feel Nico Steyn performed at 10, and he said, obviously, the pace is a lot quicker, compared to Currie Cup. The press is a lot more compared to Currie Cup. And he said, besides his pass that led to an intercept try, he felt that he actually did quite well. His kicking for poles were good. And they obviously needed to test their depth at number 10 because Kate Voliter couldn't go on tour due to an injury. We all know that Sanele Nahamba can fill that position. But they gave Nico Steyn the opportunity to prove himself in a game against the Dragons, just to see where they stand with depth in that position. And I mean, Nico Steyn did play 10 at school as well. Although we all know school rugby and provincial rugby and international rugby is not the same thing. But Jacques Fourie says as a coaching core, they were pretty happy with what he did on the day. So coming up against Zebre, guys, we are going to have to really, really hit our straps. And we're going to have to just be focused. I believe that we've got the firepower, and from 1 to 23, we'll probably be better than them. But we need to play as a collective. We need to make sure that we, catch that last pass, make those first-time tackles, get our kicks over, and just be calm under pressure. If we get into a pressure situation in the game, just to calm things down. And the Lions are already showing signs of a championship type of side that can close out games now and that can run it from any angle if they need to, kick when they should kick. So I think they're becoming a lot more like solid in all aspects of their game. And then after a Zebre, we play the big one, which is Leinster. So Leinster is obviously stands as a mountain in front of us. But like Jacques was saying, if we can go to Leinster and get a point or maybe 2 points, that will be regarded as a great success. You're never going to easily beat them in Dublin, and the chances are greater if we play them in South Africa, but we've got to play what's in front of us. And he said that it will be a great opportunity for all of our players, younger players and more experienced players, to take on the likes of Leinster in Dublin. So the Lions obviously have won their first game. They're targeting Zebre for another 5-point win, and they are hoping to get 1 or 2 points out of the Leinster game. We then come back to South Africa because we have that 1 month break where the November internationals take place. It will also give some of our players that are injured some more time to recover. And then we go back to Ireland and we face Munster. We'll obviously stay on as a squad because we then play Ospreys in Wales before coming back to South Africa to face Section Palois in the Challenge Cup at Ellis Park. So there's quite a few of our players that are recovering at the moment. They're in rehab, not major injuries, some of them a little bit longer out than the others, but I think we'll have the majority of our injured players back by the time we face Munster and the Challenge Cup games. And then it's very exciting as well that we've got a talented utility back in Richard Kriel that has returned from injury. This player can play fullback, wing and centre. When he was asked today by one of the journalists what he prefers, he said, I shouldn't really say it in front of Jacques Fourie, but my preferred position is centre. But obviously I'll play wherever the team needs me, and that is currently moving between wing and fullback. So it's great having him back, together with Edwell that returned last week. And the fact that we've gotten Taupia Mafura on the injury list, it just shows you how much depth is in the squad now. In almost every position, we are well covered. So I think we are really on a good roll. The team spirit is like top notch. It's 3 out of 3 so far, guys. And I think we can make it 4 out of 4. I'm sure we can make it 4 out of 4. If we can solidify our place in third spot before taking on Leinster, it'll be great. And whatever points we can get out of that game will be a bonus. And then I believe the Lions have got what it takes to even go back to Ireland and show Munster a thing or two. So that by the time we go into our December break into the Challenge Cup, we're sitting pretty on that log. So all I can say is proud Lions supporter, keep on going, guys, and we believe in you.
The Lions Pride of Jozi Rugby podcast with Clinton Scott